Have you ever felt that sinking suspicion, that little voice whispering that someone close to you might betray you? Maybe it's a friend who suddenly turns cold, a partner who withholds trust, or a colleague who's just a little too eager to please until they're not. That gnawing feeling that beneath the surface, someone is hiding something, waiting for the right moment to stab you in the back. It's a terrible, isolating sensation, like walking a tightrope over a pit of unseen dangers. And let me ask you, how often have you wondered if you can truly trust anyone? How many times have you been blindsided only to realize too late that the signs were there all along? That's the reality most of us face in a world where loyalty is rare and betrayal lurks behind every smile. Maybe you've experienced that moment when someone you trusted suddenly turns cold, or when you realize the person you thought was an ally has been silently plotting against you. Perhaps you've felt the sting of betrayal, and it's left you questioning everything, your judgment, your instincts, your own worth. It's a painful, confusing experience, and if you're honest, you probably wonder, who is truly loyal? Who is pretending? Who is just waiting for their moment to strike? These questions can haunt you, eroding your confidence and making you suspicious of everyone around you. But here's the truth. Betrayal isn't always obvious. It doesn't come with a sign flashing, "I'm about to stab you in the back." Sometimes it's subtle. It's in the quiet hesitation, the half smile that doesn't reach the eyes, the overly agreeable attitude that feels off. It's in the way some people manipulate situations, playing nice until their true intentions surface. And if you want to protect yourself, if you want to see the warning signs before it's too late, you need to understand what to look for. Because the real danger isn't just betrayal itself. It's the ignorance, the blind spots that leave you vulnerable to those who would undermine you. Throughout this video, I'll reveal the 3 most powerful warning signs that someone is about to betray you. Signs that are often hidden, often dismissed, but impossible to ignore once you know what they are. Recognizing these signs could mean the difference between betrayal and safety, between being blindsided or staying one step ahead. So if this resonates with you, if you've ever felt the sting of betrayal or worry about who might be next, I invite you to stay with me, because here we don't just talk about the problem, we uncover the truth that most won't dare to face. If this topic has made you think, if it's stirred something deep inside, then subscribe now, because here we talk about exactly what no one else has the courage to explore. Your awareness is your power. Don't let betrayal catch you off guard. Let's get started. Have you ever felt that gnawing doubt deep inside, like a shadow that refuses to go away? It's that sinking feeling that something's not right, that someone you trust might be hiding something, yet you can't quite put your finger on it. It's an internal storm, a constant battle between your instincts and your need to believe in the good of others. You tell yourself to ignore it, to trust, but the nagging suspicion grows louder, feeding on your insecurities and fears. You look for reassurance in small gestures, in smiles that seem too perfect, or conversations that feel slightly off, but nothing concrete ever appears. Just vague unease that refuses to fade. This is the cruel cycle you're caught in. Every time you let your guard down, you get hurt. Every time you choose to trust, you're betrayed again, and that betrayal leaves a scar so deep that it seems impossible to heal. You begin questioning your own judgment, wondering if you're paranoid or if your intuition is just overactive. But that voice inside, that feeling that something's wrong, persists. It's as if your mind is caught between 2 worlds, one that desperately wants to believe in people and another that warns you to stay alert, to guard your heart because pain is lurking just around the corner. And so, you find yourself trapped in this emotional vicious cycle, trusting just enough to stay hopeful, but always holding back a part of yourself for fear of being hurt again. Every interaction becomes a test, every smile a potential lie, every gesture a possible betrayal. Your confidence erodes, replaced by a constant state of suspicion that drains your energy and clouds your judgment. You feel alone in this silent struggle, as if no one truly understands the torment raging inside. The pain is not just external, it's buried deep within your psyche, whispering that maybe, just maybe, everyone is capable of betrayal, including those you hold closest. And the worst part? You know that if you continue down this path, the emotional damage will only deepen, reinforcing your fears and pushing you further into isolation. This ongoing turmoil leaves you exhausted, emotionally drained, and questioning whether trusting anyone is even worth the risk. You want to believe in love, in friendship, in loyalty, but the scars of past betrayals make every new connection feel like walking on glass. The fear of being hurt again is so overwhelming that it's almost paralyzing. You carry this weight every day, feeling like a prisoner of your own doubts, unable to escape the cycle of suspicion and heartbreak. And deep down, you wonder if there will ever be peace, if the pain will ever stop, or if this relentless storm inside will swallow you whole, leaving you more broken than ever before. You notice a message notification on your phone and feel a flicker of anxiety. Who is it from? Why did they send it at this hour? Your heart pounds as you wonder if this could be the moment that confirms your suspicions. Throughout the day, these thoughts cling to you like a persistent shadow. Every word spoken by someone close feels scrutinized. You replay conversations in your head, obsessing over moments that, in hindsight, seem insignificant but now seem loaded with hidden meanings. You find yourself questioning every gesture, every smile. Was that a genuine expression, or was it a mask hiding something else? A simple laugh from your partner or a friend's casual remark suddenly feels like a coded message, a sign of betrayal lurking just beneath the surface. You start to notice your behaviors changing. You check your phone constantly, seeking reassurance or confirmation that everything is fine. You might even avoid certain topics or conversations, fearing that they reveal too much or expose your insecurities. When someone says they're busy, your mind jumps to the worst-case scenario. Are they hiding something? Are they lying? You find yourself overanalyzing text messages, reading between the lines, searching for clues that aren't there. Your trust is fraying thread by thread, yet you cling to the hope that maybe everything is just in your head. As the hours pass, a sense of emotional claustrophobia takes hold. You feel trapped in a prison of your own making, a space where suspicion warps your perception of reality. Small behaviors become monumental, exaggerated by your inner turmoil. The way someone touches their phone, the delay in replying to a message, or a sudden change in tone, each detail fuels your anxiety. Your mind whispers, "They're hiding something," even when all evidence points elsewhere. This cycle of doubt makes your world smaller, your interactions more strained, and your confidence erodes with every passing moment. Even in moments of quiet or routine, this emotional pain persists. You might be sitting alone, trying to focus on work or a hobby, but your thoughts keep circling back to the same questions. Did I see a lie? Is this person trustworthy? Why do I feel this emptiness, this ache that never seems to go away? It's a persistent, gnawing feeling that leaves you emotionally drained, worn out from the constant battle between hope and suspicion. You become hypersensitive to every gesture, every word, feeling betrayed by your own mind as much as by others. This relentless internal storm leaves you feeling isolated, as if no one could possibly understand the depth of your suffering. You hide these feelings behind a mask of normalcy, but inside, you're suffocating. The weight of your unspoken fears presses down on you daily, trapping you in a cycle of uncertainty and pain. It's no longer just about trust, it's about your very sense of self, questioning whether you can still believe in love, loyalty, or friendship, or if those promises were just illusions all along. And as night falls, the silence deepens, amplifying your loneliness, making you wonder if you will ever find peace from this invisible prison of doubt. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. This isn't just about cunning or strength. It's about understanding the hidden signs that reveal danger before it strikes. It's about recognizing the subtle, almost invisible whispers of betrayal lurking beneath the surface of what seems familiar and safe. Imagine your mind as a battlefield, constantly analyzing every word, every gesture, every message, searching for clues that confirm your deepest fears. It's as if your intuition is trying to warn you, but at the same time, it becomes a trap itself. You become obsessed with reading between the lines, seeking signs of deceit that may or may not exist, and in doing so, you trap yourself in a cycle of suspicion and pain. That's the paradox. The more you scrutinize, the more your trust erodes, and the more vulnerable you become. This psychological concept is rooted in what some call hypervigilance, a state of intense alertness born from the fear of betrayal. When trust is broken once, your mind rewires itself to protect you, but in doing so, it often pushes you toward paranoia. You start to see betrayal everywhere. Hidden messages, ambiguous responses, inconsistent behavior, and the pain, it's almost unbearable. Because in trying to protect yourself, you end up reinforcing your sense of loneliness, of being betrayed before it even happens. You become trapped in a cycle of doubt, unable to fully open your heart again. Ask yourself, are you genuinely suspicious, or are you afraid of being hurt? Is your mind trying to protect you, or is it sabotaging your happiness? When you analyze every small gesture or word, are you searching for truth, or are you feeding your fears? These questions cut deep because they force you to confront the core of your pain. Trust isn't just about believing others. It's about trusting yourself to handle what comes. But if your mind is constantly on high alert, how can you ever truly relax and be vulnerable again? This concept reveals something vital about human nature, our need for control in a world that's inherently unpredictable. It's a battle between your instinct to defend yourself and the desire to connect authentically. As you reflect on these ideas, you might start to see the patterns that keep you trapped. The signs you ignore or misinterpret aren't just random. They're part of a larger psychological landscape shaped by past wounds, fears, and hopes. Stay curious, because understanding these hidden signs is the first step to breaking free from the cycle of doubt, rebuilding trust, and finding peace amidst the chaos of your mind. The journey ahead is about uncovering what truly lies beneath your fears, and learning how to navigate the delicate balance between caution and openness. You might find yourself constantly on edge, sensing that betrayal lurks just beneath the surface of every interaction. This isn't just paranoia, it's a reflection of a deep psychological pattern rooted in your subconscious. The concept at play here is hypervigilance, the relentless state of alertness that keeps you scanning your environment for signs of treachery. It's not a sign of strength, but a survival mechanism born from past wounds and unspoken fears. And understanding how this pattern manifests in your daily life can be the first step toward breaking free from its grip. Imagine walking into a room full of friends or colleagues. Instead of enjoying the moment, you're subtly analyzing every word, every gesture, searching for hidden agendas or signs of betrayal. Maybe you notice a colleague's slight smirk and immediately think they're talking behind your back. Or perhaps you're hesitant to fully trust a new partner, constantly second-guessing their intentions, even when their actions are genuine. These behaviors, overanalyzing conversations, doubting others' motives, hesitating to open up, are direct expressions of hypervigilance. You're not weak or overly suspicious. You're trapped in an old pattern of self-protection that no longer serves you. Think about how this affects your relationships. You might find yourself withdrawing emotionally, convinced that vulnerability will lead to betrayal. You keep your guard up so tightly that intimacy becomes impossible. You might even sabotage potential connections because the fear of being hurt outweighs the desire to trust. These reactions aren't random. They stem from a deep-seated belief that trusting others equals risking pain. But this belief is rooted in your past, in experiences where trust was broken, and your mind learned to see danger everywhere. A reflex, not a truth. In your routine, this pattern shows up in subtle ways. You might be hesitant to share your true feelings, fearing that your honesty will be exploited. Or you might dismiss compliments and kindness from others, convinced they have ulterior motives. You could also find yourself constantly double-checking your commitments, worried that someone will betray your trust or take advantage of your vulnerability. These behaviors are not signs of your weakness. They are the echoes of an old, unconscious survival strategy that's no longer appropriate in your current life. Recognizing this pattern is crucial. You're not fragile or overly suspicious. You're caught in a familiar cycle of protection that was adaptive once, but now keeps you disconnected from genuine connection. The fear of betrayal has become a lens through which you interpret every interaction, distorting your perception of reality. It's a pattern born out of pain, but it's also one that you can consciously choose to challenge. The first step toward freedom is awareness. By acknowledging that hypervigilance is a conditioned response, you empower yourself to question its validity. You are not doomed to live in perpetual suspicion. You have the capacity to rewrite this pattern, to see trust not as a risk, but as an act of courage. Remember, this isn't about weakness. It's about breaking free from an old, unconscious pattern that no longer serves your growth. With each conscious choice to trust, you move closer to a life where vulnerability becomes a source of strength, not fear. And as you begin to see yourself in this new light, the journey toward emotional freedom becomes clearer. The next step is understanding how to confront and transform these deep-seated fears. Have you ever wondered why trust feels like a fragile, fleeting thing in your life? Why every time someone gets close, a silent alarm goes off inside you, warning of betrayal? It's as if your mind is constantly scanning for signs that everything you hold dear might shatter at any moment. This isn't just paranoia, it's a survival mechanism rooted deep within your psyche. It's the consequence of a pattern born from childhood wounds, past betrayals, and the relentless need to protect yourself from pain. But what if I told you that this hypervigilance, this constant suspicion, isn't a sign of strength? It's a sign of a wound that refuses to heal. You see, when you live in a state of hyper-alertness, you become a prisoner of your own mind. Every gesture, every word becomes a potential threat. You analyze every interaction obsessively, searching for hidden motives or signs of betrayal. And in doing so, you unknowingly create the very reality you fear. Because trust, true trust, isn't about never being hurt. It's about risking vulnerability despite the possibility of pain. Yet for you, vulnerability feels like an open door to betrayal, a risk too dangerous to take. Ask yourself, how much of your life has been shaped by this fear? How many relationships, opportunities, or moments of genuine connection have you lost because of your guardedness? This pattern doesn't just isolate you from others, it isolates you from yourself. It keeps you locked in a cycle of doubt, turning your perception into a battlefield where everyone is a potential enemy. And in that battlefield, you forget who you truly are, someone capable of love, of trust, of connection. Instead, you become a soldier fighting ghosts. And here's the truth that's painfully clear. Living like this is exhausting. It drains your energy, warps your perception, and turns intimacy into a risk you're too afraid to take. But what if this intense vigilance is not a sign of strength? What if it's a cry for help, a silent plea for healing that you've been ignoring for too long? Because beneath that armor of suspicion, there's a part of you longing for peace, for authenticity, for genuine connection without the constant fear of betrayal. Now the question is, how long are you going to continue living in this endless cycle of doubt? How long will you let your past wounds dictate your future? It's time to ask yourself, are you willing to stay trapped in this cycle? Or are you ready to confront the pain that keeps you bound? Because the path to freedom starts with one honest question. Do you want to keep living in fear? Or do you want to finally embrace the possibility of trust? I invite you to share your story below. What have these signs of betrayal cost you? What are you afraid to admit about your own vulnerability? Your voice matters, and your story might be the first step toward breaking free. Remember, you are not alone in this. And healing begins when we dare to face the truth. It's nothing big at first. Just a comment from a coworker about someone's weekend plans. A quick glance at your partner's phone, a missed call from a friend you haven't heard from in a while, but suddenly, everything feels heavier. Every word, every gesture, every glance is scrutinized under the lens of suspicion. You catch yourself replaying conversations, second-guessing intentions, searching for signs of betrayal in the smallest details. In your daily interactions, this hypervigilance becomes a relentless echo. When your partner responds a little too quickly to a message, you wonder if they're hiding something. When a friend cancels plans unexpectedly, you convince yourself it's because they're avoiding you or hiding something better. Even innocent comments can trigger a flood of doubts. Did they mean it as a joke or a jab? And you find yourself holding back your true feelings, afraid that showing vulnerability will only open the door for more betrayal. You start to analyze their tone, their body language, every word they say or don't say, searching desperately for signs that confirm your fears. These small moments accumulate, weighing down your emotional resilience. You begin to withdraw, avoiding deeper conversations because you're terrified of being hurt or betrayed. You start questioning the sincerity of everyone around you, building walls that keep others at arm's length. You tell yourself it's a sign of strength, being cautious, guarded, but deep down, you feel isolated, exhausted from the constant mental chess game. Your heart aches with the loneliness of living in a state of perpetual suspicion, feeling disconnected from those you care about because trusting seems like risking everything you're trying to protect. And yet, every time you clamp down tighter, every time you dismiss vulnerability as weakness, you trap yourself further in this cycle. The pain of living in doubt becomes an unbearable weight, an emotional void that leaves you feeling empty, unfulfilled, and increasingly disconnected from yourself and others. You wonder if this endless vigilance is worth it, if the fear will ever truly fade, or if you're doomed to live in this shadow of mistrust forever, longing for genuine connection but afraid to take the leap. In the quiet moments of your daily life, you might not realize how these warning signs subtly shape your relationships, especially with those you love. Imagine waking up, feeling a flicker of doubt that lingers from the night before, or brushing off a partner's concern with a dismissive shrug, convincing yourself it's nothing. But deep down, there's a quiet alarm ringing. Something isn't quite right. When someone shows signs of betrayal, it often begins with small, almost imperceptible behaviors. Maybe they avoid your gaze, or they become overly defensive when you ask about their day. Perhaps they withhold affection or seem distant even when they're physically close. These aren't just signs of a bad day, they're signals that your partner might be silently planning to betray your trust. The pattern of emotional self-neglect often starts here. You ignore your instincts, dismissing your feelings as paranoia or insecurity, convincing yourself that it's better to stay silent than risk confrontation. You tell yourself that if you just give more space, or if you ignore the subtle signs, everything will be fine. But the truth is, this neglect feeds the cycle. Every time you dismiss your intuition, you're reinforcing the idea that your feelings don't matter, that your trust is something to be given away blindly, even when your gut screams otherwise. Over time, this pattern erodes your confidence and leaves you feeling more vulnerable, more exposed to the pain of betrayal. In romantic relationships, these signs become even more devastating because they touch on our deepest fears of abandonment and rejection. You might find yourself making excuses for their distant behavior, telling yourself they're stressed or busy, when what you really feel is a gnawing suspicion. Are they hiding something? Do they really care? This emotional self-neglect manifests as a silent acceptance of the betrayal warning signs instead of confronting them head-on. You stay quiet, hoping it's all just a misunderstanding, but inside, you're slowly losing your voice. Your feelings are dismissed, your boundaries pushed aside, and your emotional needs left unmet. Over time, the relationship becomes a cycle of self-neglect, sacrificing your peace of mind, your trust, and your self-worth just to keep things stable on the surface. The more you ignore these warning signs, the deeper you sink into loneliness and despair, feeling more disconnected and unimportant. It's crucial to ask yourself, are you willing to continue this pattern of emotional neglect? Or will you finally listen to that voice inside, that quiet but persistent warning? The real question is, how much longer can you afford to ignore your own feelings, your intuition, and your worth? If you stay silent now, you risk losing yourself and the authentic connection you crave. But if you choose to face these signs head-on, you open the door to genuine change. Will you continue to sacrifice your emotional health for the illusion of stability? Or will you finally confront your fears and demand the respect and honesty you deserve? The choice is yours, but remember, betrayal begins long before the act itself, in the silent neglect of your own truth. You might notice a persistent headache that lingers no matter how much you rest, or a constant tightness in your chest that feels like a weight pressing down on your lungs. Perhaps your stomach is in knots, causing frequent nausea or digestive issues that seem to have no clear cause. These physical symptoms are not random. They are the body's desperate cry for help, a sign that your emotional boundaries are being crossed and your inner world is suffering in silence. When you push aside feelings of distrust, deny the discomfort of distance or defensiveness from someone you care about, you're essentially silencing your own truth. Over time, this suppression manifests physically. Your shoulders may become tense, carrying burdens you refuse to acknowledge. Your heart races more easily, even when you're at rest, as if your nervous system is constantly on high alert, ready for betrayal or rejection. You might experience chronic fatigue, not just from exhaustion, but because your body is working overtime to keep up with the emotional chaos inside. These symptoms are not just inconvenient, they're a clear sign that emotional neglect is taking a toll on your physical health. And what about the emotional toll? The more you ignore these signs, the more your inner world begins to fragment. Anxiety becomes a constant companion, whispering doubts and fears that erode your confidence. Feelings of sadness and helplessness seep in, making it harder to find joy even in small pleasures. You may start to feel disconnected from your own body, unable to distinguish between physical pain and emotional distress. This disconnection fuels a vicious cycle. The more you ignore your needs and boundaries, the more your body rebels, demanding attention in ways that feel overwhelming and uncontrollable. Your body is begging you to listen, to honor your emotional boundaries before the damage becomes irreversible. It's sending signals that you cannot afford to dismiss any longer. Every ache, every tension, every sleepless night is a plea for you to acknowledge what's happening beneath the surface. If you keep ignoring these signs, you risk spiraling into chronic illness, depression, and a profound sense of emptiness that can be hard to reverse. Your emotional health is inseparable from your physical well-being. The body isn't just a vessel. It's the voice of your soul, crying out for respect, love, and boundaries. So ask yourself, what signs have you already seen but refused to face? How much longer will you silence your own body's desperate call for help? It's time to listen. Your life depends on it. But as hours pass, that hope starts to crack, replaced by a gnawing sense of obligation. You find yourself saying yes to things you'd rather refuse, just to keep the peace, to avoid conflict, to be seen as the good one. The more you give in, whether it's lending money, sacrificing your time, or suppressing your feelings, the more others seem to expect from you. It's as if your generosity becomes a currency they rely on, a resource they don't think twice about draining. Each small concession feeds their demands, and somehow, you find yourself caught in a cycle where your boundaries are eroded without even realizing it. Over time, this relentless giving starts to weigh heavily on your shoulders. The exhaustion is not just physical, but emotional, like carrying a backpack filled with rocks that grow heavier with each mile. You wake up feeling tired even after a full night's sleep, your body aching with silent fatigue. Your mind is cluttered with worries. Did I say the right thing? Am I disappointing them again? The constant effort to meet others' expectations drains your energy, leaving you hollow. It's as if you're running a marathon with no finish line in sight. The finish line that once seemed so clear now obscured by the fog of exhaustion. As weeks turn into months, this cycle intensifies. Your patience wears thin. Small annoyances become unbearable, and a sense of resentment begins to build beneath the surface. You might even start to notice physical symptoms, stomach aches, headaches, tension in your neck and shoulders that seem to echo the emotional strain. It's as if your body is trying to scream, warning you that this relentless giving is unsustainable. Yet, instead of listening, you push through, convincing yourself that this is just part of being a good person. But every time you suppress your own needs, it's like turning up the volume on your inner pain, making it impossible to ignore. The emotional snowball grows bigger, faster, and more destructive. And so, month after month, this cycle deepens, pulling you further into a whirlpool of exhaustion and quiet despair. The more you give, the more they expect, and the more exhausted you become, until your entire existence feels like a series of empty sacrifices. You ask yourself, when will enough be enough? But deep down, you already know the answer isn't simple. The cycle is a relentless beast, feeding itself, growing stronger with each act of self-denial. The question remains, how long can you keep giving before there's nothing left to give? Your support not only helps this message reach more people who might be suffering in silence, but also reminds you that you are not alone in this journey. Every like is a small act of courage, a step toward breaking free from the cycle of betrayal and self-neglect. Remember, your worth is not defined by others' opinions or their ability to betray you. It's rooted in your resilience and your desire to reclaim your life. This moment of acknowledgement is a powerful act of self-love, a declaration that you deserve honesty, respect, and genuine connection. So, take a deep breath, honor your feelings, and show yourself that you are ready to see the truth and embrace your power. You have the strength to transform pain into growth, fear into courage, and betrayal into a catalyst for your awakening. Now let's revisit the core lessons of this journey and prepare you for the next step, one that will lead you toward authentic freedom and inner peace. Your story is not over. It's just beginning. The best is yet to come. And it starts with recognizing the signs, trusting your intuition, and daring to choose yourself over the fear of abandonment. You are capable of creating a life filled with genuine love, respect, and integrity. Believe in that possibility. Believe in yourself. Because the moment you see these warning signs, you hold the power to change your path forever. Your healing starts now, and I am here with you every step of the way. The truth is, you have within you the power to change your story. No matter how difficult your past or how many signs you've overlooked, you are not defined by those moments. You are a resilient, capable soul, capable of rewriting your narrative and creating a life rooted in authenticity and inner strength. Every challenge you've faced has been a step toward greater awareness. The signs of betrayal, hidden agendas, inconsistency, and manipulation are signals meant to protect your energy and your peace. Recognizing these signs is not about judgment. It's about awakening to your own worth and learning to trust yourself more deeply. The journey toward healing begins with the understanding that you are deserving of love, loyalty, and respect. You have the power to set boundaries, to choose people who uplift you, and to eliminate those who drain your spirit. The change starts now, with each decision you make to prioritize your happiness and integrity. Remember, your past does not dictate your future. Every day is a new opportunity to step into your true power. You are not alone in this journey. Many have faced similar struggles and have emerged stronger, wiser, and more radiant. Your story is still being written, and you hold the pen. Believe in your capacity to grow, to learn from every experience, and to forge a life filled with genuine connections and self-love. The path of transformation is yours to walk, and it begins with a single courageous step. Now is the moment to embrace hope and trust in your potential. You are worthy of a life where betrayal does not define you, but instead fuels your growth. Let this be the turning point, a declaration that you will no longer settle for less than you deserve. Rise with confidence, knowing that the power to create a brighter, more authentic future is in your hands. Your journey to a life of authenticity, resilience, and inner peace starts today. Believe in yourself and step boldly into the next chapter of your incredible story. You've just uncovered the subtle cues that can safeguard your energy and emotional well-being, understanding that your intuition is your greatest guide. No matter how challenging the past may have been, know that you hold the ability to rewrite your story, to set boundaries, and to surround yourself with relationships rooted in respect and truth. Every step you take towards awareness is a step closer to living a life filled with genuine connection and inner peace. Remember, the power to transform your reality lies entirely within your hands. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the author of your destiny. Embrace the courage to trust yourself, to walk away when necessary, and to prioritize your well-being above all else. The choices you make today will shape the life you live tomorrow. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications so you don't miss the next powerful insights, and most importantly, watch the next video I'm leaving here on the screen. It's the next step in your journey of self-discovery and emotional freedom, because your transformation begins with your decision to believe in yourself and take control. You have the strength within you. Believe it, embrace it, and step into the life you deserve.